1966 Volkswagen Beetle. I started by test fitting the tire carrier panel in place. The front apron was fit after that. Then I moved on to the bumper brackets and made sure everything lined up with the holes and the bumper was going to fit on the front end. I drill all the holes initially, clean up around the holes, that way when everything's fit it can be welded in place easier. Once the alignment is right, then everything gets welded. When you're fitting a front end, put the bumper on there, put the fender, the hood, that way all your lines match up. There's quite a bit of work that went into this lower B pillar. It was the hinge panel as well as the exterior panels. I had to take everything apart in layers to be able to repair it. I cut the repair panel apart and separated it so that I could weld them in individually. You have to start on the inside and kind of work your way back out. I clean everything up as I go and paint everything, that way there's paint on the inside when I'm done. Once the hinge panel is in there, then I take the door and actually fit the door to make sure everything's lining up properly before welding it. Then I put the exterior side on and weld all that in for the cosmetics. After the patch in the wheel well area is put in, then I can fold that metal back over on that seam. The fender nut is welded to that panel before that panel is welded in. Now on to the fun part, the dash. All sorts of holes, weird cuts. All the pieces were cut out, but I ended up cutting out more afterwards. They got pretty creative with the glove box and brazed it in, then cut a radio into it. This was the initial idea, but I didn't end up going with that dash. I really just didn't care for the idea of putting an aluminum dash in there and screwing it in. This car had the typical rust on the end of both heat channels. This is a multi-layer repair as well, where you start on the inside and work your way out. There's 3 layers to it. You got to do the inner, the outer, and then you do that edge where the fender mounts. Everything is cleaned up as far back as I can get it and painted. I try to put things back in the same way they would have went in originally. Create the layers, do the spot welds, seam seal everything when you're done. These are the panels that were created for both sides. And there it is once all those panels are put in. These corners weren't all that bad. I've seen far worse. A lot of times it goes up higher and then it gets into those rear body mounts.